as a first responder, coming to someone's aid when they're in distress or need help, and you are the person that they see that's going to help them, I think that's probably the most rewarding thing about this job.
We get to work with a lot of community organizations and school groups and introduce the park to people who have never had that connection with the outdoors. And to see somebody have that connection for the first time is extremely meaningful. And, as a park ranger, we get to make those connections, those long-lasting, meaningful moments in their lives.
With over 55,000 acres of land, Santa Clara County Parks encompasses 28 regional parklands featuring a diverse range of recreational activities. From reservoirs to marshlands to redwood forests, intricately formed ecosystems thrive within each park, attracting a variety of visitors. Providing an open space refuge, our parks not only aim to restore and preserve endangered habitats and species, but historically meaningful architecture and cultures as well. At the forefront of preserving and protecting our parks is the park ranger. With less than 50 park rangers spread across 3 regions and administration, each member is an indispensable part of the team and provides a unique set of skills and knowledge. With a 30% vacancy rate, we need more people more than ever to fill this critical role, to protect the parks not only for recreation, but to protect the deteriorating health of our planet.
I actually immigrated to the US when I was 8, and throughout my high school I was had interest in outdoors. I was in Boy Scouts, and one of the teachers actually knew I wanted to work in the forest, and so he gave me a packet that said park ranger and told me what the job was, how much you made, which was very helpful. But it took me a long time to actually get to start working on my career as a park ranger. But when I did, the doors open. As long as you keep the park safe and the people safe, it's a really fun job.
My name is Allie Henry, and I'm the Chief Park Ranger for Santa Clara County Parks and Recreation. I have worked for this department, for this agency, for 15 years. I started in 2011 as an extra help park services attendant. I became really interested in the role of park ranger while I worked as a park services attendant. I was able to learn from a lot of great folks that were in that role that took me under their wing and were able to teach me so much about the job. So I'm extremely appreciative of that time. And I was hired in 2014 as a full-time permanent park ranger. I went through the Park Ranger Academy in 2015, and then my career kind of took off from there and rose through the ranks. I spent about 3 years as a field training officer, some of the best years of my career. I'm super grateful for that time. Definitely the most challenging, but also by far the most rewarding so far.
I've been a park ranger since 2019, started as a seasonal employee, and after working a season up at Mount Madonna County Park, I promoted to a full-time permanent park ranger where I was stationed at Calero and Almond and Quicksilver County Park. I worked there for 6 years before being granted the opportunity of another promotion where I am now the senior park ranger at Hellier County Park, Marshall Cottle County Park, and Santa Teresa County Park.
I'm the senior park ranger of Sanborn County Park, as well as Stevens Creek and Skyline. I've been a park ranger for 11 years. What makes this my dream job is the variety of work. As a park ranger, we can have a call for service for a wildland fire. It could be a medical, it could be a lost hiker. We could have an interpretive hike. So I very much enjoy never knowing what kind of call I'll get, but knowing that I've been trained enough to respond to anything.
So what sets Santa Clara County Parks apart from other agencies, whether they're traditional like fire or EMS or law enforcement agencies or other parks agencies, is that we embrace that generalist role. If you have an interest in doing something, a lot of our folks have interest in the wildland fire response, community outreach, engagement, or other things. While you are responsible for doing all of your roles and being really good at those, you can lean into some of those other components heavily.
Park rangers at Santa Clara County Parks are generalists, which means they are trained to perform the many different tasks necessary to protect the people and nature within our parks. They are firefighters, first responders, and unarmed law enforcement, all while also retaining a plethora of knowledge about each park's wildlife, history, and more. When not patrolling the parks, our rangers are tasked with administrative duties where they often initiate many of their own projects to help improve the parks for practical and recreational purposes.
You get to do a lot of fun things, a lot of things that other people don't get to do in their careers. The most impactful part of the job, I feel, is emergency medical response. When someone calls 911 in the park, a ranger is going. and we're trained to a public safety first aid level. So being able to help somebody in their time of need and getting that emergency medical training is something that really attracted me to being a park ranger. Then comes all the benefit of the other fun things. So like I'm dressed today, we are wildland firefighters. We go through a lot of wildland firefighter training. We do prescribed fires in the park, planned fires, where we'll cut brush, pile it up, let it dry out, and then set it on fire, and it clears it out. It's a safe and efficient way to control the overgrowth in the park, so that way it doesn't start an uncontrollable fire later on. Then we get to do search and rescue. Oftentimes at night, we'll use specialized equipment like utility vehicles and ATVs, sometimes motorcycles, or work closely with the sheriff's department and their helicopter team to search the park for potentially lost or injured people. So all of those things we get to help not only people, but the environment, the animals in the park. So those other things, other than law enforcement, I guess is what attracted me to specifically the park ranger job.
By being a generalist ranger, one of the pillars, if you will, is interpretation. And I would never take that one away. One of my favorite memories of being a ranger is to do the Moonlight Paddle program. We will take a group of stand-up paddleboarders, kayakers, canoes. The full moon puts a good setting around the reservoir, and then we'll make 3 to 4 interpretive stops along the reservoir. So usually we'll find a nice cove that's kind of protected from the wind, and we'll talk about nocturnal animals, or we'll talk about the history of that reservoir, that park. And you have a people that, gather up and listen. And it's kind of like a little campfire program, if you will. And then we'll do more recreation again.
Having met some of our rangers and getting a glimpse into some of the impactful work they do, you might be wondering who can become one and how. People from all backgrounds are welcome to apply as long as basic requirements are met. This includes any 2-year degree from an accredited college, possession of a California PC 832 power of arrest certificate, and a swimming certification. Applicants must be at least 21 years old and possess a valid driver's license. Accepted applicants will go through a paid 17-week academy, followed by a 14-week intensive field training program before becoming a fully fledged park ranger.
Hiring is always on the forefront of my mind and what I do. I want a diverse workforce. I want folks that we contact in the field, the people that we serve, I want them to see themselves reflected in the workforce that's helping them. Public service entities, especially law enforcement or public safety in general, is struggling with filling vacancies nationwide. And so we're a part of that struggle. And the staff feel that because there are folks out there in the field right now that are working solo. They don't have a partner. They don't have anybody else they may see on a shift or maybe for a whole entire week. And so I want to work towards narrowing that gap.
So after the academy, you do go through an intensive field training program where you go from park to park and you learn from different field training officers. And you also learn the specifics for that geographical area. With the field training program, we take it step by step. There's different phases. So you're not just thrown into the deep end right away. We train you how to use the radio. We make sure that you're safe behind the wheel in a patrol truck. And officer safety is huge for us because we're solo patrol. We're out in rural areas responding to emergency calls. So that's really the focus of the field training program, is just to make sure that you're able to confidently and safely do the job and represent the department and our park areas.
With a high vacancy rate, the community here at Santa Clara County Parks is more important than ever. Cross-regionally, our park rangers not only rely on each other, but on park services attendants and many others working within the field. Separated into 3 main divisions, park rangers operate under the Visitor Services and Facilities Division, working closely with our maintenance, interpretation, environmental health and safety, and volunteer programs. Whether on or off the field, our rangers place an importance on cultivating a sense of camaraderie and trust, starting within each unit and extending out to the entire team.
There is so much going on behind the scenes, and I think that is a testament to how well the parks is running, because there's so much going on, but I feel like the public coming to the parks don't know. And I think when you're doing it right, that's the perspective the guests should have. Because of that, I feel like visitors are comfortable talking to us and, asking for help.
So for me personally, how I get along with my group is a lot of times I've trained them. I've seen them when their first day. Now I've seen them on their own. So it's a continuation of, admiration and respect for them, that they are taking on more responsibilities and handling calls for service that, maybe they weren't prepared for the start of their career, but they are able to hit it out of the park now. And so I'm very impressed by our level of training that we offer. And I definitely will send a message to when they do a really good job on the radio or a really good call and be like, hey, that's not a dynamite or something like that. And so it's that kind of camaraderie that I feel like will always be there because I saw them from their first day and I see them where they are now. I'm really proud of them.
Our importance placed on cultivating a strong community is not limited to the workplace. Our park rangers provide support to one another whether on or off the field, often working in unfamiliar roles and park units to fill in for their fellow rangers. With many of our rangers starting new families of their own, this kind of understanding and camaraderie is vital in helping each individual transition back into the field.
It's really difficult. I think it's important to acknowledge that anybody who works in public safety, it's really hard to, one, leave the field and leave your job. That can be hard for folks. It was hard for me. But I have wanted a family for a very long time and was very set on that and was grateful enough to be able to have that happen for me. Did not plan on twins, of course, but who does? And I was able to take those 6 months, but it was an adjustment. It was really hard the first couple of weeks to come back, to leave my babies with someone. I had to hire someone to come and watch my kids. It was extremely difficult. I had really good support from folks at home, and there's folks here at work that supported me in transitioning back in and coming back to work. It would be really, really hard if I was in the field. A uniform will never fit in the same way. Your body's just different. It will never be the same. And so I think for me, that was an adjustment time. My kids are now 16 months old, so it's been a minute. And I feel for the women that I work with that have been in the field and have had to go out on leave, have their babies and come back and transition back in, still while trying to breastfeed if that's their choice and all the things that come with that. That's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. So I commend them and I support them 100%.
What would you like to share with the next generation of park rangers?
If you are on the fence and you don't really know what's your calling, but you know you want to make a difference in this world, I feel like this is the career to do because you are challenged and you are making a difference in this park. You're making it in the best condition it can possibly be in for future generations. And you are learning and challenging yourself other skills that you probably never thought you would. You're responding and helping someone that hurt themselves and that they don't think they're going to get out. And you're giving them hope and you're that first responder that's there for them.
So if I had any advice for someone who's thinking about becoming a park ranger, a few things come to mind. First, become familiar with your area. Go outside. Become familiar with the different types of recreational activities that you find in the park. Because what this job boils down to is that we work with people. We work with equestrians, bicyclists, people who bring their power boats to the reservoir. And while I'm not saying go out and buy a boat, it's maybe go out and visit these areas that you would potentially be working in, because this is not a desk job. We are outside every day, and that's something that you have to be comfortable with. This is a law enforcement position. So definitely you have to understand that you're going to be responding to emergency calls. You're going to be put into uncomfortable situations sometimes, and you have to be okay with that.
I almost choke up when I think about it because I'm super passionate about this work, and I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I have been afforded. Some of those I think happened for me early in my career. I think some folks were skeptical about that, and those that are watching may laugh or giggle about that because, a lot of times I was told you don't have the years of experience to be able to do the things that you either want to do or that you have been given the opportunity to do. Field training, promoting to senior park ranger. But my response to that is, while I may not have the years of service at that time, I have done everything possible to gain experience. And so my knowledge and experience is vast. And that's why I'm able to sit in this spot doing this job with only 15 years of experience. And I say only because that is a very, very short amount of time to work in public service and to be given the role of chief park ranger. So what I would say to folks either that are working currently in this field or that want to work in the future is just keep at it. Never give up. I saw myself in a leadership role before I was even a park ranger. And I told a few people that and they laughed. And here I am. So I would say strive for great success, never give up, align yourself with people who support you, who want to see you succeed, who believe in you, because the opportunities are really endless.
If you're thinking about being a park ranger, what's holding you back?